Hi ladies, welcome back. Again, my name is Teresa Mitchell and I'm a part of Charis Women's Ministry at Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. And this video is going to be an introduction to our book, The Path to Sexual Healing. So hopefully you have all got your book and you're ready to get started. So I'm just going to do a little overview and introduce you to the book and get you started on your homework. So the chapters in this book are, number 1, a relationship with God. Number 2, resting in a holy God. Number 3, God's perfection. Number 4, God is faithful and true. Number 5, changing your mind. Number 6, a new love song. Number 7, changing your clothes. And chapter 8 is turning around. So we have 8 chapters in our book. And like I said, this will be your introduction. And just first of all, when we first get started, our very first chapter is titled A Relationship with God. So that's the foundation of everything that we do to be healed and to be whole, walking in joy and fulfilling your purpose that God has for you. It first comes with a relationship with the Father and with Jesus, His Son. So the only way to have a deep relationship with God is by spending time with Him. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to encourage you to spend time every day. Carve out time that you spend totally with the Lord in prayer, in meditation, listening for His voice, and searching the scriptures for the answers that you so desperately need for healing in your life. So one of the things that I do is I have goals for you each week. We don't do like a 12-step program or anything because everybody's healing is different. The trauma that you've suffered is different. Everyone goes through this journey differently. So the goals that I'm going to give you will, I won't overwhelm you and give you all of them at once. We'll just start each week with maybe 2 or 3 goals for you. And what you'll want to do is write down your goals and then next to it, how you're going to accomplish those goals. So if the first goal is getting to know God and His Word better, how would you accomplish that? Maybe get up earlier in the morning, spend time with Him. So I feel like I'm fresher in the morning than in the evening. In the evening, I tend to fall asleep if I get into my word or if I start praying. But spend whatever time is best for you every day with the Lord. So that's the first step for healing and wholeness in your life. So in the introduction on page 9, you can follow along with me. Hopefully you've gotten your book. Jesus Christ is coming back for a bride that is pure, holy, and radiant. His bride will be beautifully dressed without a spot, a stain, or a wrinkle. Her lanterns will be trimmed, filled with oil and ready to light. Christ's bride will be ready. Will you be ready? The church is the bride of Christ, and if you're a Christian, you are a part of His church. This study is designed to prepare you for Christ's coming as His bridegroom, as your bridegroom. Feeling like the bride of Christ may seem nearly impossible if you have been sexually wounded. Seeing yourself as holy, pure, and full of God's light does not easily follow sexual trauma. When a person has been sexually defiled, he or she may feel ashamed to stand in the presence of a holy God. And I totally understand that, ladies. In a similar way, standing before a holy God after committing a sexual sin is a frightening prospect. Our failures, exposed by the light of His presence, makes us want to run and hide. And this is a normal response of our sin nature. And we often feel more guilty about sexual sin than any other sin, even fearing to confess it to God. Why we try to hide it from God, I don't know, but we do. He sees everything and He knows everything. We cannot hide our guilt and shame from our God. Becoming the bride of Christ is a process and a transformation. God's perfect plan for our sexuality is for us to remain sexually pure before marriage. And when married, we are to remain monogamous and faithful to our partner. If you are married, His plan for you and your spouse is to have sex only with each other. And if you're single, God's plan for you is to abstain from sexual relations. Married or single, our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions must be pleasing to God. In God's perfect plan, there is no sexual perversion or abuse, but we live in a fallen world. This study is for those who have fallen and not followed God's perfect plan. It's also for those of you who have been victims of sexual abuse. The good news is God heals and He forgives. This Bible study looks at the spiritual consequences of sexual trauma and sexual sin. The goal is to allow the window of our soul, with all its pain and impurities, to be open to God. This study is also for the victim of another sexual sin, as well as for the one who has committed sexual sin. It is for anyone who has ever gone his or her own way and is now ready to go God's way. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you want to go God's way. You want to be healed and set free from guilt, from shame, from the bondage of someone else's actions over your life. Being a Christian does not guarantee protection from being raped or abused. We live in a fallen world. The church can welcome and care for the victimized. The church can help those who are guilty of sexual sin to repent and be cleansed. And that's why we have this Bible study and support group, is to support you in your healing journey, to facilitate God's love and His grace in your life and forgiveness, and to help you forgive others, especially those who have victimized you. So that's by way an introduction to our study. So I want you to go ahead and get started in chapter 1. That's on page 15. Be sure and read the entire introduction and then start in chapter 1. And I look forward to going over it with you next week. God bless you, and I'm praying for you.